So to like recap the end of the year, I thought it would be nice to like kind of give a top 5 underrated performances of 2024.
And a lot of good performances this year, so I'm ready to hear what you got.
This one might surprise you, okay? Starting off, I'm saying Nicole Kidman, not in Baby Girl, but for her AMC intro. Because each time I go to the movies, I am fully impressed.
I think that recording's like 5 years old at this point.
Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Every time I'm touched,
like,
and I'm ready for the movie.
It does.
Number 2 is the Sandworms in Dune Part 2. Like, come on, like Paul Atreides wouldn't win without them, you know?
Those weren't even CGI.
They were.
They traveled all the way to Arrakis. They brought along a sandworm tamer.
A lot of good men died trying to get that shot, but it was worth
Timothy
it.
Chalamet is it's a real method actor.
Maybe the best.
Clear your jets.
Number 3 is Gromit, because Gromit's the goat, the greatest of all time.
He's a dog, first of all.
Wallace and Gromit: Adventures Most Foul hasn't even come out yet. I mean,
It came out in theaters,
got a limited theatrical release somewhere over on the West Coast, but not in Ohio.
but Gromit is such a great character. I think he deserves his praise.
Warms my heart to hear those words come from your mouth.
I know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Gromit's great. Doesn't have to say a word.
Number 4 is Nicholas Holt's Agent.
He was in
Juror number 2.
Nosferatu.
He was in The Order with Jude Law, and he booked Lex Luthor this year. So I think
Nicholas Holt's Agent.
And
That's a good one.
Number 5, the comment section, because they never cease to amaze me.
How do they amaze you?
I would say 99% of the time the comment section is quiet on us, but that 1% of the time they come out in full force. They let us know what they're thinking.
Literally, I got a comment yesterday that says "F you and this take." So
You were like, should we keep doing this?
Yeah.
Is it worth it for the emotional
and I
turmoil?
took that personally.
But yeah, those 5, I really want to give the praise it's due. You guys have any others?
The only one I can think of is Riley Hughes when he donned the Joker makeup for our Nolan ranking episode. You kind of got. I was kind of scared for a second because you kind of got lost in that role, and you were.
When you picked up that knife and started waving it around in front of our faces,
we were off air, and you were still doing the voice, and we were like, man, I think we got to call John. We got to call your dad. Let him know what's going on.
Down.
You started chasing Josiah around the house with a knife, saying, "I'm gonna stab you."
And you know I got one of those short legs, so I can't run very fast.
Yeah, he kind of hobbles around. I thought Josiah was gonna get it that day.
We were about to watch Josiah die in our house.
Yeah.
But
then you said just kidding at the end, and we knew it was okay.
Yeah, that makes it up.
You're like, kidding? And we're like,
you know how to get us going.
he did it again.
Well, to end our last 2024, welcome back to the Good Show Hunting podcast. How you like them apples?
Yes, today we have one of my favorite types of episodes. I really do cherish these sort of end-of-year recaps where we're just going to look back at 2024, look at the movies that we saw that came out this year, that we saw in theaters, look at other movies that we watched, talk about our activity on Letterboxd, talk about other moments from the podcast, and just do some reflecting.
We did a lot.
I'm excited. I love
Lot
this
highs,
kind of stuff.
lot lows,
Lot of lows.
lot in betweens.
Lot of lows.
Not too many highs.
And the highs are relatively short compared to how low the lows were.
Come on, guys.
It's a low peak, but it's a deep valley.
Can we be a little positive?
I'm positive there's a lot of lows.
So to start out, we got to start with our ranking, each of our rankings for the top 5 releases that we saw.
Are we not doing what we're watching?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Josiah is so ambitious
I'm
that
telling
he
you,
forgot about our staple
the meat and potatoes of this podcast
segment, which is what we're watching. We recorded this week's episode and next week's episode out of order. Next week's episode, we don't have a what we're watching segment. So this week, we are kind of playing catch up. So there's kind of a lot of ground to cover. So we're going to be a little brief with our thoughts. Riley, what did you watch over the past 2 weeks? 2 or 3 weeks.
So I don't know if you heard, there's a 10-year re-release of Interstellar that was in theaters. I saw it. It was amazing. 5-star movie. I've never seen it in theaters. I'm telling you, this movie is special. I can't wait to rewatch it. It's one of Christopher Nolan's best, and I look back at our Christopher Nolan episode, and I want to punch that Riley because he put Batman
I want to punch that Riley too.
right now.
That Riley and this
And
Riley.
hey, can we quickly get on the record? Can we get your thoughts on the Interstellar score?
It's like the overall score during the movie. I'm like, this score's so good. Hans Zimmer.
I literally need to change my pants right now.
I'm so sorry to Josiah for the Riley episode.
For more reasons than one, we'll get into that.
Yeah, but shout out Hans Zimmer. It's a really shout out Christopher Nolan.
It's a good movie. It's in my top 4.
When we go see Hans Zimmer live, he's going to be like, and shout out to Riley Hughes.
We need one special audience member to join us on stage for a solo.
What?
Yep. You're like, ba, 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 ba.
I just started singing perfectly like the girl in Dune, like ah.
You're like, it's not possible, but it's necessary.
Cuts the interview, me and Josiah afterwards. Yeah, we've been friends for him for years. We didn't know he could do that.
You never saw that.
But Interstellar, good movie. Then we did Josiah and I, we started this tradition of doing 5 movies challenge in December. And we each do it's the same category, but we each pick a different movie kind of thing. So the first movie was Noah's wife's pick, and she picked Mary Poppins for me. I gave it 3.5 stars. Good movie. Like, I'm surprised what movies can do back in the day. I like the music. I like the characters. Did I have the best of time?
It's not necessarily up your alley per se.
Yeah. I do like musicals. I don't know, maybe if I gave it a rewatch, it might grow.
The fact that it came out in the 60s, 68, or was it?
64.
64, and they have like the live action within the animation,
I know.
and it looks as good as it does.
I'm really impressed with what they do in this movie.
Quite telling. Josiah says, drink up.
I'll drink to that.
Then I watched 2024 release I didn't watch, and that was Juror Number 2, directed by Clint Eastwood, and this is a underrated, underappreciated gem of the year.
Clint Eastwood's like, well, I'm not dead yet, so I guess I got to direct another movie.
Like, my hip sure is killing me.
But this is like a courtroom drama. I think goes into guilt, and I think Nicholas Hoult does a really good job of. He doesn't really say a whole lot, but it's like his facial expressions because he's taking everything in. I think he does a good job.
Would you give it
4 stars?
Would you rather watch that or the 1517 to Paris?
Juror Number 2.
Would you rather watch that or The Mule?
Juror Number 2.
Would you rather watch that or Cry Macho?
Juror Number 2.
And would you rather watch that or Gran Torino?
Juror Number 2.
People say that's a pretty good movie, but I watched it and I was pretty unimpressed.
But you guys didn't ask, is there a bomb in San
Oh,
Diego?
yeah, for sure. There's so many of them. The man can't be stopped.
Then, since the Superman trailer, the new one coming out, I decided to watch the 1978 Superman with Christopher Reeves. Reeves
with an S, I do believe.
Okay. 4 stars, great movie. I love it. I am a big fan. There's one thing at the end I'm not a big fan of, but I don't really hold that against the movie. I just love the dichotomy of Clark and Kent in this movie.
Clark and Superman?
Clark and Superman.
Yeah.
I'm Clark and he's
He has split personality disorder. Fascinating.
Riley's done it again.
Clark and Superman. He's just so awkward and clumsy, but then when he's Superman, he's the complete opposite. And in one scene, he has his glasses, takes the glasses off, and
His posture,
postures up,
his demeanor,
and then he puts it back on. He slouches and he's clumsy again. It's really good.
So you probably empathize with Clark Kent a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, thought so.
Do you feel like we're going to get that energy in the new movie?
I do think so.
David Corn
Cornsweat.
Sweat.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I mean, the trailer.
And I like what they do with his dad in this movie versus Man of Steel. And I think that's but that's going on. But anyways, yeah. Next was Josiah's pick for me. He picked Noah's pick. Noah's pick, and he picked Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were Rabbit. I had a really good time with this movie.
So good.
Like I said, Gromit is the GOAT.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's awesome.
You like Wallace?
Not as much as Gromit.
Wallace is full of charm in and of his own right.
I did like
You liked Hutch.
Hutch.
I never liked Hutch.
I like Hutch because he likes cheese. He's just like
Wallace likes cheese.
He's like cheese.
Yeah, that is.
But I liked him better than Wallace.
Hutch is Wallace. They got their brain switched.
Anyways,
I think
Good-
there's some really funny quotes
good
that
stuff.
Hutch says.
Yeah.
I can't off the top of my head remember.
We believe it was awesome. Awesome around, I tell you what.
Then I watched 4 Christmases because we had to watch a Christmas movie. Vince Vaughn, Reese Witherspoon gave it 2 stars. Did not have an enjoyable time with this. I thought it gets worse and worse. Kind of bad Christmas movie. I don't even really think Christmas is a point, really. Anyways, then I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in theaters. Gave it 3.5. This is a kids movie through and through, but I had a great time with it.
So you've seen the second one?
No, I haven't.
I didn't think so.
I went and saw it with my nephews.
Okay.
If you like Sonic, like I grew up playing the Sonic games, like this, and I played Sonic 2 with Shadow, and this felt like, man, this
Did they
is
have
awesome.
the City Escape song?
They had
Running around at the
speed
of sound.
The places to go, gotta follow my way now.
They don't have that song, but there's another song in the games that shows up here.
I feel like City Escape is like the most iconic, but
follow me,
set me free. Trust me, and we will escape from the city.
But I saw an interview that Jim Carrey's like, I'm only coming back for the perfect script. Like, because he said he was retired. And there's a scene with him and his dad, his grandpa, who Jim Carrey plays the grandpa, and they're just dancing. And it's just a fun scene.
Like, it's not cringe, it's like fun.
I think it's fun.
Nice.
I thought the music was hidden and they're just dancing. It's really good. Then
Jim Carrey said, I'm only coming back for the perfect script.
and they're like, you get to play a grandpa and Dr. Eggman. And he's like, yes. Then we saw Nosferatu yesterday. I'll keep it brief with my thoughts on this. I gave it 3.5. There's nothing I really didn't not like about the movie, but I wouldn't say I liked a whole lot. It's really interesting to say. I don't think I'm a fan of the Nosferatu story, but I don't think if someone else doing the movie other than Robert Eggers, I don't think I would enjoyed it as much because I think he did a great job. The cast was great, the cinematography, the score, like top to bottom, it was really good.
Sun's coming in really bright.
But I just don't think I'm a fan of the Nosferatu story.
Yeah, I got my own thoughts on it.
But yeah, and then I watched Monkey Man last night, and this is directed by Dave Patel, another 2024 release. I gave it 3.5. I think this movie's what the kids call the sauce. Like, it has the sauce. It's like good action, like cool directed. But I think some of the camera work, I kind of got dizzy. I was like, my dad would have hate this movie because he gets dizzy easily. He's like, I cannot go on roller coasters. But other than that, I thought it was good. There's some points that kind of felt boring, but overall, I enjoyed it. I don't know.
Very good.
That's my.
I'll hop into what I've been watching. I watched 6 movies since we last spoke of this. Kind of following suit with some of the movies were part of our movie challenge. I watched Red One, which is, I had a fun time with it. If we're being honest, I gave it 3.5 stars. Same director who did the Jumanji movies. And I feel like it's very similar energy to that. Like it's a very simple story, but I cannot tell a lie. I had a fun time with it.
A lot of people hated the movie.
Yeah, and that's fair. Josiah watched it too. He gave it a lower score, but I don't know. Like it's not one I'll watch every year. I think he captured it best, and I had the thought too. It's like if I was in middle school, this would have been my jam.
I think there's so many good ideas, but then I think you spread those ideas really thin.
Yeah,
at the cost of even the story itself or the depth of the characters and everything. In my opinion,
I went into this. I was ready to put money on the fact that Lucy Liu was going to be like the main villain all along, sort of thing. She's
spoilers.
It's not really a spoiler. She's not. She's just the director. She has a very minor role.
I think you said the director was the guy who did Jumanji.
Shut up.
But
Kieran, whatever her last name is a very odd casting choice for this movie as well. Then I watched Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man. It's the first time I watched this for like
I'm something
like 10
of a
or 12
scientist
years.
myself.
Yeah, that movie is it's just quotes. Like,
You can't do this to me. Don't you know how much I sacrificed?
I forgot the part where that's my problem.
Think about it, hero.
No, I'm the human spider.
Godspeed.
I love in the opening they're like college students, but the professor or teacher is also, or their high school is younger than them. And he's like, he's like talking in a whisper.
You guys need to stop talking and pay attention to the tour. I gave it 3.5 stars. There's a lot to like, but I mean, it was good. I'm really looking forward to watching Spider-Man 2.
What a gem.
And then I watched Danny Boyle's Steve Jobs. Came out in 2015.
Had my
per Josiah's pick.
request.
And I gave that 4 stars. Honestly, this is one that has marinated a little bit and probably could be 4.5.
That's what I gave it when I watched it.
It really is. What's it, Aaron Sorkin? His writing is. It's just really good, and it's not a biopic in the sense like these things actually happened this way, because I'm certain that they didn't, because it's literally just like one interaction and they have like the most intense dialogue, and then Steve Jobs moved to the next person and they have an interaction and it's the most intense dialogue, and that happens, I don't know, 9 different times.
the whole movie.
Yeah. And it's just such good writing.
I would say, yeah, just it takes such complex, like just industry talk that you're not going to understand if you're not in the industry, but it takes that and just makes it so accessible, and you're thrown right into the thick of it, and you understand what's going on, even though it is all very technical, which is pretty cool.
He's like the conductor plays the orchestra. That's another one of those things that just doesn't really mean anything. and he's like, what do you even do here? It's like, I play the orchestra.
Good movie.
It's pretty good. For my Christmas movie, on Christmas Day, we watched, me and my wife watched A Christmas Story. This is one that she watched like every Christmas growing up. It was just like on repeat all day long. I watched it for the very first time. I gave it 3.5 stars. I liked it. And then later that day, we went to her family's house and it was on again. So I technically watched it twice. I like A Christmas Story. And that's that.
Moving on.
Later, Christmas evening, we watched The Polar Express. I gave that 3 stars. There is a lot to like. There is the uncanny valleyness of it is you can't move past it. Like, it's weird. The animation and the facial animations mostly. I really like the first. I guess it's about the first half, and then they get into the North Pole. And the elves in this movie, I do not like them at all. I find them creepy and weird.
That sounds racist.
No, it ain't. They're not real. The elves, it was just a bad direction. It is interesting that Tom Hanks did every like role, and I think for the most part that goes pretty well for him. It's 3-star movie. Actually, I think I gave it 3.5 stars, and then I bumped it down to 3. And then the last movie I watched was The Wild Robot. And this is a good movie.
So good.
Per my review, it's not a perfect movie, but I could see it on a rewatch. I could see myself giving it, like, bumping it up to 5 stars, even though there's like a few tangible things that I actively don't like about it, but the stuff that I do like is really good. And there was just a line at the end of the movie. The character said it, and it got me choked up. And then the credits were rolling, and I was talking to Kenzie, and I was like, this line, and I like started crying, and then she started crying because I was crying. It was like a really good moment. Movies never really done that for us before, so it's gonna.
It was usually like, I like the cameo. I like the Spider-Man cameo.
Where's the post credit scene?
What does that mise en scène?
Mise en scène.
What's a mise en scène?
No, The Wild Robot was good. The score, I think Chris Bauer's score is like my favorite score of the year. There's a song, I Could Use a Boost. That song is so good. There's several songs that are so good. Love the animation style. I asked you when you watched it if it's more similar to Puss in Boots or like other DreamWorks. I don't know how to describe it, but it is more similar to Puss in Boots. Like, it's more like I guess like textured or different. Very good. Josiah's going to watch it, and then we're all going to talk about it together.
Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't make my list this year, but I'm sure I'll give it a high score. I watched 8 movies. We'll do this quick. So the first one I watched was Good Will Hunting. I gave it 4 stars. Riley darn near wrung my neck when he saw that, but I fought him off because he's not that strong. I think it's a good movie. I'd have some personal thoughts on like kind of what I wish it did more of. I would say that Robin Williams, all things considered, doesn't actually do much counseling in the movie. They just kind of shoot the breeze in a way that is cathartic for Will.
I don't know if you're gonna find a movie that does counseling.
I know, and that's one of those things. But anyway. And then I was vindicated because in Riley's little birthday episode, he was like, "I think I think balls is not part of that quote." And you're right, it wasn't balls; it was sack. You have the sack to ante up and get back in there. And people try to call me a fraud.
I mean, you still got the quote wrong.
I was convinced that this whole time you were just like, I'm gonna play Riley and just give it 4 stars. When we do the podcast and be like, it's amazing.
It's really good, but then there are some, and I have some other thoughts on it. Just some stuff that keeps me from giving a higher score. Then I also watched Christmas Story. I gave it 2.5 stars. It's a real slice of life, and that's why so many people love it. I personally thought it felt a little disjointed, like the whole the decoder ring. That was more of a bit.
It's just a movie made up of bits essentially,
and if anything, I would think that would make me enjoy it more. But I don't know. I didn't.
Do you not care for it
much? I don't like A Christmas Story.
Oh. So 2.5, and then I watched Red One that I also gave 2.5 stars. Like Noah said, a lot of interesting ideas. It doesn't really, if I am being honest, I don't think it feels like a Christmas movie. It's got so many Christmas elements and visuals, but at the end of the day,
it's an action movie.
It's more of an action
with
movie
a Christmas skin on it.
Yeah, which I am like, meh. But yeah, like I said, I would have liked it more as a younger boy. Then on Christmas Day, I went to my parents' house and we watched Night of the Museum. Have you seen that? We saw that in theaters. That was in our house growing up. That was always
one of Mom's favorite movies.
It holds up. It is so. I mean, I love Ben Stiller, so it's gonna hold up there. But it's got so many good actors in it, and so many. It's Sean Levy, so Deadpool and Wolverine. It's just so many fun scenes of just, you got a museum full of different time periods and stuff, characters that
different sorts of exhibits.
Yeah. So I'm like
the T-Rex, but then like the Easter Island head,
and then he gets caught in like the little Civil War,
the miniatures.
Firefight. So I'm just like, there's just so much fun stuff going on. And I said this in my Letterboxd review, but Robin Williams as Theodore Roosevelt is like an awesome character. And I think that's like in hindsight because of Robin Williams' legacy and kind of what he left behind. I think that his character is just, there's so much to appreciate, and I don't know where that goes in the other second and third movie besides the quote from the end of the third movie. I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. How exciting! Yeah, it's awesome. So Night of the Museum, 4.5 stars, and then I watched Polar Express. I gave it 3.5 stars. I agree with everything Noah said. But Billy the Kid, not the cowboy, the little
kid who lives on the other side of the train tracks.
I just have a lot of empathy for him. He's just a little boy that
you really do feel for Billy,
because the kids are just all excited about the gifts, and they're like, "Billy, aren't you excited for Christmas?" And he's just like, "Christmas just doesn't work out for me." And I'm like, "Billy, I'm so sorry."
No, well, the when the one present comes down the conveyor belt, he's like, "That's my address. My name's Billy." And then it's just like rolling away, and he's like,
chasing.
Wait, he's like, starts chasing after it. It kind of feels good.
Yeah. So yeah. And then I watched, trying to pad some of my 2024 movies. I watched Late Night with the Devil. Technically it came out in 2023, but it got a theatrical release in 2024. I give it 3 stars. It's a very interesting film. David
Dastmalchian,
Demolition Man, is a great actor. Like he steals the show.
Yeah.
But I think the story as is the case with so many movies, I feel like it's got a really interesting idea, but it doesn't like doesn't land the way that
And
it should.
AI sure is ruining the industry.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that.
That's all the Letterboxd reviews.
Yeah, it had a really
Ban this movie.
a really interesting third or like final scene, final 5 minutes or so. So anyway, it was
Interesting
good, but not
good
great.
or interesting bad?
Interesting good that made that kind of felt like it kind of did like some interesting camera work as far as giving a different feel, like the aspect ratio and all that stuff.
Well, we're talking about the mise en scène now, huh?
Yeah. And then I watched yesterday. I saw Nosferatu with Riley, and I gave that 3.5. Pretty much everyone that we know who has seen it has given it 3.5 stars.
You guys going into it, I would have bet money that you both gave it 3.5 stars because it would have been well crafted, but it just wasn't gonna land.
Yeah, it looks amazing, but I think at the end of the day, maybe we don't connect to the characters in a way, or the mise en scène is so glim.
That's how The Lighthouse was for me. Like, it's a perfectly crafted movie, but it was just
feel
I don't think it's my
Even
cup
The
of tea.
Lighthouse, you kind of connect more. So anyway, so it's a good movie, but not the best. And then lastly, yesterday, I watched Thelma. Per Noah's, well, really the opinion of that movie has evolved because Noah gave it a high score, and then our older brother Sam watched it, and he was just like, "Yeah, I really appreciate your recommendation. Just really curious what you loved about the
Yeah,
movie."
I didn't really care for it.
No, we love Sam's great. Not trying to poke too much fun at him, but he did not love the movie, so I was curious to see what I would give it, and I gave it 4.5 stars. I gave it a higher score than Noah, which that's not trying to one up. That's a observation. And
it probably lives on as a 4.5 in my mind.
I think this is my kind of movie where there's just real character driven humor, like really legitimately funny. It's about an old. It centers on elderly people.
Oh,
but
they know what the movie's about. I've talked about it enough.
centers on old people, but it's really not a movie for old people. It's a movie for all audiences.
There's a line at the end that I forgot to say, not the very end, but when they're leaving the bad guy's hideout. And I don't remember the full quote, but she's just like staring him in the eye, and she's like, "This whole thing has been very ridiculous."
Yeah.
And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it just, the line lands, like the impact of it is very, very heavy.
I was going to say the ending, the final scene. I love the final scene. It's her and her grandson kind of driving home after this whole ordeal. And it feels so, well, it turns out it's actually like a clip from the real life Thelma that the movie's based on. I didn't realize that they played a little
It's
scene.
the director's
But they're
grandma.
just, okay. But yeah, they're just driving and she's just like observing the trees, and she's just like, it's so on the nose that I could see you rolling your eyes at it, but to me it felt so like the movie kind of like observing itself, and it's just like, look at the trees, look how gnarled they are. They should be on the ground. They should have blown over, but they're still standing. Like, what spirit, like this like admiration of like life is hard. Life throws punches at you and it should kill you, it feels like so often, but like people keep going, and like the elderly
They have the sack.
most of all. They have the sack to anti-back up. Exactly. So I
Thelma has a sack.
so I heard that and I was like, dang. And then there's a little piano piece that goes to that. I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, it's good.
So anyway, so now that we're 30 minutes into this episode, we're about to be here for another hour and a half. But
You're the kind of person who would say, "But I'm here for it."
you're the one who just said it.
No, but it was my impression of you.
Let's punch this guy.
Josiah's like, "But I'm here for it." Hoo-hoo.
Okay, so after that recap on its own, the rest of this episode we're just reflecting on 2024, and that's going to start with our list, top 5 movies of the year ranked. Get it out of the way now. A lot of movies I haven't seen. Wild Robot. Well, the Wild Robot's a big one.
You have Nora, The Substance, which I don't know if we would particularly like those movies. Other movies were
I mean, we all have fairly different lists, so
Yeah.
it'll look different. But
There's not a lot of home movies that three of us each saw.
we did okay at kind of varying our
Yeah.
lists. So anyway, I'm gonna start, and let's do a little round.
Do honorable
Round table.
mentions.
We can quickly do honorable mentions.
I didn't write any honorable mentions down.
For me, some of my two that I would list are Long Legs. Really, I mean, I've shared my thoughts on that, but I still think the artistic direction of the movie is great and very memorable, and we have quoted it a lot. And A Different Man. That movie, like I said, it does a lot of really interesting stuff, and that makes it interesting.
Yeah, I would include Long Legs, Alien Romulus. While I didn't give it the most flattering score, I just think about the visuals from time to time, and it's such a beautiful movie. So that one would probably be an honorable mention. And then I did not include Dune Part 2 on my list, so honor to you, Dune Part 2.
I would say Wicked. I had a really good time on that with that movie. I really like the songs. I also think Ariana Grande does a good job. And I also like my top 5 has been tough, like trying to decide what I want to put in the top 5 because I think there's been some good movies, but nothing that really stood out to me this year. There's a couple as the best of the best, but like the 3, 4, 5, the 4 and 5 were tough. But I would put Civil War as another honorable mention. I had a fun, good. I had not fun, but it was. I think it's a really, interesting take and concept, and I liked what Alex Garland did, and I like Kaylee Spaney. So.
Sure do.
So these are our top 5 movies of 2024, and we're going to not dive super deep into these because most of them we've talked about at other points on the podcast, but this is kind of just recap. So for me, at my number 5 top movie of 2024, it's Inside Out 2. It's I think a great sequel. I think it honors the first movie and builds on it in a great way. I think the characters, I think the themes of anxiety and kind of digging into like cognitive distortions and core beliefs. I think it's great. And it's a little bit of like psychoeducation, as we call it in
the finale was a really good emotional hit.
So that's my number 5. Go ahead.
For my number 5, I chose Deadpool and Wolverine. The only MCU movie that came out this year, but also the best one that's come out in recent time. Probably the best action that we've seen, maybe across that's subjective, across any movie of 2024. Really good jokes, really good music sequences. Loved Deadpool and Wolverine.
My number 5 is Alien Romulus. Speaking about Kaylee Spaney.
There she is again.
I have grown to appreciate the Alien series more and more, and I think this is a good addition. There's a lot of movies I don't like in the series. Alien Covenant, I'm looking at you. But I think Alien Romulus is a really, like, I have good visuals, like Noah said. Just maybe like some things that are holding it back, but I think there's some good sequences in this movie, and I think Fede Alvarez does a great job directing. Wasn't a fan of Ian Holm coming back because he's dead. They did the but other than that, I enjoyed it. I think Andy is a great robot, and
Andy is a great robot. Riley Hughes.
So that's my number 5.
Yeah. My number 4, we're keeping the Kaylee Spaney train moving here. My number 4 is Civil War. I really think this is a great. I don't know if it's an original screenplay. It might be based on a book, but the movie feels so original. I love the creative approach to the story, just as following journalists and really not making you take sides in the Civil War, but really just seeing it from like a nonpartisan perspective. I think some of the music choices, like it's just so like stylistic, especially with like the scenes that are going on. I think it's great performances. Kirsten Dunst, never been a huge fan, but I think she did a great job. Other guy.
Yeah, he played
Jesse Plemons?
Narcos.
He played Death
Puss in Boots.
What's his name? Mr. Guy.
Yeah.
The one guy from.
Feel bad for not remembering, but he did a great job as well. So Yeah,
My number 4 is a movie that did not release in 2023, but we saw in 2024 in January. Is The Boy and the Heron.
See, I didn't include that on my list because that technically released in 2023.
Yeah.
We'll allow it. Riley and I have decided we'll allow it.
I veto. Not allow.
Scrambling here to find another movie. Nah, we're in my house, so I'm making this call. It's a really good movie. It won the first Miyazaki film and only to win a Academy Award. But the music in this movie is so good. Robert Pattinson. Maito. Very intense sequences, very imaginative, and it tells a story about a child dealing with grief in such an imaginative way. It was very good.
I had a good nap during it.
Yeah, you did.
Snoring along to the score.
That was the movie my crunching on food started, the origin story for Josiah.
No, it's just like spills his Skittles. Yeah,
come on.
All the orange ones. Those are my favorite.
I got to pick up all these now. Sorry to get in front of you.
My number 4 is Deadpool and Wolverine. I think this is probably the most fun I had in the theaters this year. The story is definitely it's a mess, but I think the highs of like just I think it's the action, like Noah says, is really good. I like the Chris Evans cameo. Like it kind of averts expectations of that's Captain America, but he's back as Johnny Storm.
It got me good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed like him going through different dimensions, seeing different Wolverines. Like I just had a good time with it. I thought the jokes were funny. Like, who's your dialect coach? Minion? The Minions?
Oh, yeah.
It was fun seeing like what's Blade? Wesley Snipes, Jennifer Gardner, and Channing Tatum as those heroes. So it was
Wesley Slapstick. Yeah, he's like, there's only one Blade. And
So, Deadpool Wolverine. I it's a good movie. Like I saw it twice. Do I really want to see it again? Not really, but I had a good time, and that's why it's number 4 in my 2024 ranking.
Coming in at number 3 for me is Dune Part 2. Unfortunately, I like kind of tend to focus on some of the stuff I nitpick, or not even nitpick. I just am not the biggest fan of Timothée Chalamet. Nothing against him personally.
That's why I'm sort of surprised that it ranked as high as it did.
But I think when you take the movie as a whole, the sandworm taming writing scene, and I think just the scale of the movie and the visuals and stuff, it's like it does kind of feel like history in the making. Like it's one of those movies that you're glad you saw it in theaters. And so I don't think the world of Dune is as personal to me as something like the MCU or Star Wars or something like that. But, it's still an awesome movie to see. And hopefully, I'm sure I'll see him again. Are they making a third one?
Yeah, Dune Messiah.
Dune Messiah. I think that'll close out the trilogy.
Nice. There you go.
My number 3 is a movie we've already talked about. It's Thelma, starring June Squibb. I don't really need to say everything I like about it because we kind of already talked about it. But it's a really good movie. A real under the radar release of 2024, but well worth watching.
My number third pick, which I think number 1, 2, and 3 for me could be a toss up. Like I feel like tomorrow I could change this order, but I think these are the 3 best. So my number 3 is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. I love Mad Max Fury Road. Like that's probably in my top 20 favorite movies of all time. I think Furiosa is a great addition to the story. I think Anya Taylor-Joy does a great job in like encapsulating Furiosa. I think she does a good job. Like some people were kind of disappointed that Charlize Theron was going back, or like maybe we should just de-age her. But I think the best choice was doing Anya Taylor-Joy, and I think Chris Hemsworth gives his best performance ever.
Best performance ever.
I'm thinking
better than Cabin in the Woods. Okay, guys, let's go to the cabin
from America.
I'll come back for you, and then I think he does a great job as the villain in Furiosa. I think George Miller, great action scenes. Like I'm really a fan of this world, and that's why it's my number.
You
third.
haven't seen any of the original, have
I've
you?
seen the third one. No, I said I've
Underdrome or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen that and Road Warrior. I just never seen the first one.
Nice.
For me, my number 2 is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wow.
I think everything that you guys have said, great action, great emotional beats. For me, what sticks out is the music. When I think about this movie, I think about the Elektra Blade Gambit reveal scene and Rob Simonson's the score for the movie, or the theme, is just like this real bassy, real I don't know if that music that style has been used in other MCUs. So that just made the MCU.
I don't even recall what that sounds like, so I'll have to revisit that.
I mean, it's similar to LFG, like the theme for the movie. But I just think about that since that really stands out. And then the
what is it? Is it Madonna?
Yeah,
her
then
song.
Like a Prayer.
That's it.
With the choir backing.
That's really good.
I mean, with all the edits on TikTok and Instagram, I love every single one. That. Nobody thought that a Madonna song would create this emotional depth in this sort of final stand, sort of last moments sort of deal. But I think it worked so great in the movie, and that's what I think about when I think of the movie. I don't think about the shortcomings as much as I think about the scenes that really hit me. So I think it sits well at my number 2 spot.
For my number 2, I chose Conclave, which is the movie that I saw by myself in theaters with all the other old people. It was just a very, I think I put it in my Letterboxd review that this is a Todd Nordquist movie. Our dad would like it, and I think I like it for the same reasons. It's intense. It's very focused. It's clean, clean in the sense of it's
Catholic.
It's appropriate for all ages. So I kind of like that aspect of it. Again, I have beef with the ending. I don't like how it ended at all. But
I just think about you watching that, and you just stand up, you're just pacing.
Yeah. Oh, you better not. Oh, he's
not done it that way. Oh my God,
he's doing it. But literally everything else besides the last 5 minutes was just really good filmmaking, cinematography, script.
Original screenplay.
It's based on a book, I believe.
Mine number 2, which this was hard to decide which was my number 2 one, but I picked Dune Part 2. I'm a fan of the Dune world, but like Josiah said, it's not I'm not as invested in Star Wars or MCU or the DCU.
Star Wars are like other universes.
I was about to say Lord of the Rings, but I'm like, that's not true. But I do like Timothée Chalamet. I think he does awesome as Paul Atreides in this movie. I think the cast is awesome. It's great, top to bottom. I don't like Christopher Walken as that's my main.
We gotta get the spice from the Atreides.
But there's I think about the Coliseum scene a lot. I think about one of my this is a TikTok too, but he's like, be careful what you do next, Paul Atreides, and he's like, silence. And I think that scene's really cool. Nice. And it sticks out to me. And like Josiah said, the Sandworms, Hans Zimmer score, Kiss the Ring, so good.
Very good, yeah.
Denis Villeneuve, you done it again.
You dog.
And then at my number 1 spot, this is a hot take for sure. People will not. And I'm curious to see how time treats this. But for my number 1 movie, I put Thelma.
Let's go.
I'm
Who can argue?
Really looking forward to talking.
Sam's gonna have beef with you.
Yeah, with our brother Sam after this one.
Sam's pacing. No, we better not say it. No.
I listen. I think I just got to be real with myself, and it's that kind of movie. I just love those kind of movies. Just real small scale, but it tells a story of a human. And I feel I really connected with the original, the original problem of scamming elderly people, I feel very strong. Like, I don't know what about that issue speaks to me, but like, I feel very strongly. Like, that makes me.
They're a vulnerable population.
That makes me really mad when that happens.
You say you have beef?
No, Thelma, don't do it.
No. So I think the performances. Well, I would say the grandson. He's just kind of like.
I think he does okay, but yeah,
he does okay. But like, just all things considered, I don't know if that'll stay in my number one spot with time. But for now, it's like I like that. It's a great movie. I felt a lot with it. So it's my number one.
For my number one, I think we might have the same one. And it's also one that I just watched this week, but it's still Wild Robot.
Yep, that's my number one too.
Like every other movie on this list is very good, but I don't know how often I'll come back to it. The Wild Robot, it feels like it's part of my inner circle now. And again, it's not a perfect movie. There are things that I don't like about it, but there's so many things that are so good. And just like the emotions that it made me feel, like I'm never going to forget how it made me feel. And on rewatch, I hope I feel the same way.
Yeah, there's things that I love about movies. And one of those things is, like I said before, is making me cry. And this movie made me cry. It made me laugh. The animation's great. I love the story. And I can't wait to rewatch it. Like it's just the reason why it's my number one. I could see if I rewatch Dune, it taking the spot. But right now, as we sit on December 31st.
Yep. New Year's Eve.
We are recording this the day it comes out.
That Wild Robot is my number one of 2024. And like, I think with all our lists, those movies could change. Those
when I watch The Wild Robot, it's going to make my top 5, but I just haven't seen it, so I can't.
We could see other movies in 2024. But that begs the question:
when I watch Terrifier 3, it's going to make my top 5. I just haven't seen it.
Was 2024 a good year of movies?
I think it was good. I think it's hard for there to be a year without any great movies. I think there's not been any like abs. I didn't have any 5-star movies on my list.
I didn't either,
but
I didn't either.
I'm glad with,
I didn't either, and I give 5 stars to everything.
Yeah. Speaking of which. I thought actually, before we get to that,
let's jump into our lowest.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of like there not being the best movies, I feel like a lot of the movies that I've seen this year, we've seen have been mid or worse.
Yeah.
So we're just quickly knocking out our worst movie of the year. My worst movie, which is surprisingly not these guys' worst, but it's down there for just about everyone who watched it. Megalopolis. Man, we watched it for the meme and it was worth it, but only barely. It was, man.
That's a long movie.
Talk about a mess, and it's not getting that one on Blu-ray.
Yeah, my lowest rated movie of the year. If you're been sticking around for a while, you'll know that I had a terrible time watching Argyle. Last week or whenever we talked about the worst plot twists. This movie has literally like 5 plot twists, and I hate all of them. They just get worse and worse. The casting is horrible. Why is Henry Cavill in this? He's so underused. Such a bad movie from Matthew Vaughn, who did the Kingsman movies, which I really like.
My worst movie, it could have been Megalopolis, but there's a movie that I don't ever want to see again. And I had such a bad, boring time with. I'm not a fan of it at all, and that's Joker 2, Folly of Dew. What a boring piece of crap.
I forget. I don't know if we talked about it when you first reviewed it, but this sentiment that it will become more of a classic with time. Like, people will appreciate it more.
Some people have said that.
Yeah, I think it was like Hideo Kojima who said that.
I really don't understand. It's a musical, but I don't think any of the songs, besides maybe one, is good. It feels like the story gets going and then it takes you out with another song. I just couldn't get engaged at all. Even though I think maybe Megalopolis might be overall crafted worse. There might be. I did not like Joker 2 at all. Some
honorable mentions for me: Kung Fu Panda 4. Not very good, especially tarnishing the legacy of the first 3 movies, and then Fall Guy.
Fall Guy.
What a letdown of that.
I truly don't get where people are coming. Like, it has like a certified fresh from Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb and Metacritic. It's like, I don't. And so like Fall Guy was my second lowest, and then Boy Kills World. I mean, I gave it 2.5 stars, so it's not like horrible, but it just very disappointing based off the exciting trailer.
I thought the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare was very mid.
Maybe one of the biggest letdowns of the year.
I think Fall Guy takes the cake for me. Biggest letdown, but also honestly, this is a so bad it's good movie is Madam Web. Like, I think it's like so bad it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So, but I gave that 1 star.
Man, I wish I went and I was like this close to going to see Kraven the Hunter on my own. I wish I did just for the bit. But I bet.
And you're like, it's number 3 in my top 5.
It's John Bad.
I've seen the rhino transformation scene like on YouTube, just clips of it, and it's just like not good.
So anyway, so those are all the movies that came out this year, but we watch a lot of other movies, and so I thought it'd be fun, and maybe we can be a little bit more brief with these, to also share our top 5. And me personally, I did not put these in an order. I don't think Noah did. I think Riley did.
I did.
These are just 5 movies I watched this year that are some of my favorite movies I watched for the first time, non-2024 releases, watched for the first time. And for me personally, I didn't necessarily go off Letterboxd score alone. I went more off like how much I've thought about the movie since watching it. Yeah. What I appreciate about it.
Mine, just for the disclaimer, I had seen 3 of these, but they were not logged on Letterboxd.
Okay, so that goes against the rules.
So actually, we're gonna put some pause.
He broke the rules twice.
That's too strict.
I just didn't have him logged on Letterboxd and hadn't watched him for like 10 plus years.
I'll start though.
Don't give him grace. Don't show mercy on this fool.
What? So for me, my first movie is Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Noah just got this movie for me on Blu-ray 4K. It is such a great movie, like timeless. Definition of timeless. Like, it feels so modern. Great writing, great story. I loved every second of it.
Mine, my first one I have is Misery. That one I would love to own. I think about it so much. It's just such a tightly knit story, compelling performances across the board. Very intense, very good.
Okay, I won't go in ranking, but I'm just gonna say I want to give it a documentary. It's Flowers, and you guys told me about this movie, and it is fantastic. Is Dear Zachary, a letter to a son about his father?
Talking about crying during movies.
Yeah, we were just like calling out Riley's like, you just don't watch documentaries. Watch Dear Zachary. And Riley's like, okay.
Cuts to Riley. Bawling.
Like 10 minutes in, I was bawling.
That documentary is one you can watch like one time every like 20 years.
Talking about movies that tell us like small scale, tell the story of a human being in their life. Like, man, like it doesn't get any.
It's a good documentary. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Don't look it up. Don't read about it. Just watch it. Number 2, or just second one on my list is Fury. I gave it 4.5 stars.
That was the first time you've seen it?
Mm-hmm. It, man, the final, and talking about movie, like when I think about just one scene, the final shot of the movie with Norman, like the song is called Norman, and it just like is this slow zoom out over this battlefield essentially. I'm like, I love that. And like I had my qualms with the movie. I don't think it's perfect, but man, and Brad Pitt does an amazing job. Logan Lerman, amazing. Like, I think the cast is great. I like war movies. I've gone on record say I like war. And so that final scene especially, I'm just like, yeah, give me that, because that's a dopamine right there.
For my second movie, I have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Far and away my favorite in the quadrilogy now.
Give me my cookies.
Yeah, that's from Rise.
Yeah, I know.
Dawn, I feel like, is the most like well-written story. We get to see Caesar like as he is grown into this leader. There's like a line at the end that I loved, which I think I spared us because it's like a spoiler of sorts. So I spared it the last time. But it's something like, apes started war. Humans will not stop fighting. Something like that, where it's just like the whole movie, he's trying to prevent this war between humans and the apes, but the apes started and then the humans are going to keep it going. It's like so good. Great performances. What's the guy that is always...
Jason Clarke?
Yes. Yeah, he's great in this.
Yeah, no one knows his name, but he's amazing in everything he's in.
Gary Oldman.
He was so good in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it's just really good. Go watch it.
Okay.
Can I help you?
Anyways,
Riley's cheating. Riley's like, what do you got on your list?
And then for my next one.
next is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Yes, sir.
This is the first time. This 2024. I watched it. It came out last year. I will say, Death, I think, is one of the best villains and animated villains we've ever gotten. He's so good.
Pick it up.
It's kind of like surprising of how good this movie is. The animation's really good. I love the
intro song, Fearless Hero.
Fearless Hero is a banger.
I love it when they're going through
Wagner Mora. I wanted to
Wagner
put his name
Moura.
out there since he's come up. Now.
I love it when they're telling, or the doctor's telling Puss like how he's died 8 times. Oh, you go through every single one. It's funny, but then you get to the last one. It's like, dude, like you're at the end of your rope here. Like,
Yeah,
it's so good.
I love the I always love in like Shrek and these movies like how they incorporate mythical like creatures or figures, stories.
John Mulaney as Jack Horner is my favorite. And he's like, I summon a swarm of locusts, and then it's just
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, Jiminy.
Yeah, I
Cricket
love Jiminy
I would say
Cricket.
even the Goldilocks and Three Bears, like that. What
Florence
was
Pugh.
the
subplot.
Yeah, but it's like I remember tearing up at that when sort of like finding her home, found family sort of deal.
But great animated movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yeah, it's great. Number 3 on my list is Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. First time watching that. I love, as much as I love a small scale story, I think when a movie, and it's got to be like the 3rd installment. It's got to be a trilogy because there's got to be movies that establish the stakes, that build up to it. But in Pirates of the Caribbean, it's got to
pay off.
It's got to pay off, and like the final showdown with like the Legion of
Maelstrom?
Pirates. Well, the Maelstrom, but like just like the pirates against Beckett's like fleet. It's just like it's huge. Like the stakes are so high, and then you get it. And lest we forget, at wit's end, Hans Zimmer concert 2025. I think this movie is the scale of it is awesome with all the other fixins of the Pirates trilogy. So awesome movie.
For my next one, we've talked about DreamWorks a lot, and we're going to talk about a little more. The Prince of Egypt. I think it wasn't. Did somebody claim this for their list for the episode that's coming out next week?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
Stole it from me.
That's right. I think truly, I think objectively speaking, this has to be one of the most well-crafted animated movies ever.
Wasn't that like a team spent hundreds of hours?
Yeah,
just animating
the
Red Sea
splitting of the Red Sea. Such good animation. Voice casting is on point. The music, amazing. And in my review, it's like this movie would not be made today. It's like a biblical story that they're giving to the general audience,
like a very faithful adaptation.
Yeah, they talk about God,
not Noah by
Darren Aronofsky. That's on my watch
Or
list.
Prince of Egypt with Christian
The
Bale.
Gods and Kings.
Oh,
Wait.
yeah. That's Exodus.
I just said the movie. You said.
Like that DreamWorks movie from 1998.
The Prince of Egypt is an amazing movie. And it's like for somebody who's not a Christian to watch this movie, and like maybe it would spark this would be something interesting to learn more about, sort of thing.
Yeah.
My next movie is After Sun with Paul Mescal. I forget the child actress's name, but she's really good too. A story about a father and a daughter, and they go on a vacation trip, and talking about movies that stick with you. This ending and the song that goes with it has stuck with me, and it's I don't think it's just a simple story, but yet so deep. and about a father and daughter's relationship. And I really hope you guys put this movie on your watch list and watch it sometime, because I'm really curious what you two would think of it. It's really
We've talked about it enough times where it's like, I got.
You've talked about it enough times. It's like, shut up.
For me, the next movie on my list is coming right off the vibe of that movie is another father-son road trip, and that's Nebraska. I gave this 4 stars originally, but like I think about it a lot, and it's just is so this father and son's relationship, and it's a lot as we talked about when we talked about Thelma. I brought this up. It's like it does a lot with like kind of like looking back on your life at the life you've lived for this elderly main character, and small town, real like just Midwest vibes.
We know what those are like.
And then the ending is like, man, it's so special. It wraps up in such a beautiful
and Will
way.
Forte's so good in that movie.
The first act, I'm like, like I like Will Forte and all of his comedic stuff, but I just did not think he was a great actor. But by the end, it's just like, you know what, I'll take it for what it is, and I'll still enjoy them. I think it's a beautiful movie, shot in black and white, like really awesome, creative choice. So
For my next pick, it's sort of one that I wasn't expecting to put on my list, but it's Rush Hour. Saw that for the first time. Like, man, what a good buddy cop film. It's funny. Jackie Chan is like amazing, atop of his game with the action. It's a 90-minute movie. Like it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's well contained. It's really good.
no problem.
Just Rush Hour. Love that movie. Next is The Holdovers. This movie came out last year with Paul Giamatti. It's now on my Christmas movie rotation, I think. It is just a kind of like that, like we talked about last time I talked about this, is like the mentor to like a student vibes of like Good Will Hunting, which
New England vibe.
Yeah,
as well.
my favorite movie of all time. And it just tells a story about these 3 people that are stuck at a college over Christmas break, and just the human connection. Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful movie. I can't wait to rewatch it. It's good. The Holdovers.
I'm sure I'd like it. And then my last pick was also Rush Hour.
Nice.
It's so great for all the things that Noah said. I love how like goofy the movie is, but then you get the little meeting up with that one criminal scene, and he's like, they're trying to convince him to help, and then Jackie Chan's whole picture is like, I don't care about you, I don't care about him, I care about her.
Yeah,
like,
so good.
Great, awesome movie.
From my final movie, I'm surprised you didn't have it. It's Oppenheimer.
Well,
Yeah.
I had that on my list, but I was like, I was selecting.
Yeah, when we were talking about Jason Clarke, I was like, is Oppenheimer?
That was my 6. I did have it anyway.
Yeah. Oppenheimer, what more is there to say? It's really good.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Theory can only take you so far. So.
Everyone knows that.
Maybe they're talking about something more important.
Nice.
And this is a movie I watched for the first time. Might surprise people. It's a classic, and I was like, okay, this is a classic, and that's Jaws.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
I was looking at your logs, and I saw you gave that 5 stars. And I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I don't remember you talking about it that much.
I think Jaws is awesome. Like
Is it Jawsome?
it's Jawsome.
Let's go.
So, yeah, I really like Jaws.
Great. Yeah, great movies.
Great, really good
Round
movies.
of applause. And you know what? Shout out to TV shows, too.
Shout out to TV.
Yeah,
The Bear, Season 2.
Another thing that we've done a part of our movie watching experience is logging our movies on Letterboxd. I feel like we all take our Letterboxd reviews pretty seriously.
Yes,
Put a lot of effort into
Pretty
it.
faithfully, anyway.
Pretty faithfully. So I thought it would be fun to just
my
look
favorite
back
app.
at the year and,
It's my favorite app.
Yeah.
Besides the Bible app, of course.
Nice, good answer. But I thought it'd be fun to just look at some of our favorite reviews from the year. And so we'll start with you, Riley. I grabbed a handful of reviews from each of us.
One of my favorites of Noah's was his Oppenheimer review. I loved it because Because it's in quotation marks. A quote from the movie says, maybe they were talking about something more important. And Noah said, me to Riley when we walk past a group of people, and he swears he heard them talking about Jujutsu Kaisen.
That's a running bit.
It's a classic. That one's been around for almost a year now. So it's been a little more established in the Good Joe Hunting lore. For one of my picks for Josiah, I had Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. It was probably Josiah's most involved review he's ever written.
It's just funny because the movie itself I just didn't love, but
it's just a scene of a stage play of the three of us aboard a pirate ship, and me.
Well, it's kind of the running joke there is that Noah and I kind of tag teamed, beat up Riley with our reviews during the Pirates of the Caribbean viewings about how he would just die at the hands of a mermaid if he were in the movies.
Yeah, and so here it's just like Riley's intentionally trying to steer the ship towards Mermaid Bay or Whitecap Bay with the mermaids. We're like, aren't there mermaids there? Those are really dangerous. He's like, must have slipped my mind. And it ends with us tying Riley to the mast. I just thought I got a real chuckle out of it.
Yeah, I was really happy with that one. Riley, I left a comment on your review for this, but your very brief review for Tenet. It's just you just spelled everything backward. You said movie good, or Tenet. It's a good movie. Really hard to understand sometimes, but love the balls on Nolan. But you said it backwards, and you just said race car and smiley face. I just saw that. That was just you just leaving the review. You just felt really proud of yourself, and I thought that was really funny and really clever. I appreciated that one.
For you, Josiah, I really liked your Doctor Strangelove review. So I like that.
I think I have that chosen as well.
You said Film Bro achievement unlocked. Old dog, same tricks. Give a 5-star rating to a movie made before 1970.
I didn't think it would happen.
And then it's possible I enjoyed this movie as much because the U.S. Air Force bureaucratic megalomania. Because I also can't understand any of the words you're saying, so I really enjoyed that part. It's a familiar mistress, but also because it's just awesome. The performances are gripping. The story's full of throttle from start to finish. The social commentary is just as relevant now as it was 6 years ago. Gets me primed and ready to rewatch Kubrick's other works. And then I'll give another for Josiah. It's like, this is for X-Men. This is my impression of Rogue the whole movie. It's just a bunch of different emojis.
I swear that was so insufferable. He just is crying and screaming the whole movie.
Oh man, for one of my favorites of yours, Riley, is Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. It's just, I hope Francis Ford Coppola stumbles upon my Letterboxd and sees I gave this movie 5 stars while I give Megalopolis a 0.5 star. Francis Ford Coppola's like, what the heck, dude? Really like that.
For Noah, well, I would say one, I really liked your Prince of Egypt review. I feel like you really articulated your thoughts really well.
I think I would agree. That's one of the most thoughtful reviews I've read.
I had that too.
I really appreciate that. And then I really liked your School of Rock review. Let me pull it up here. It's just, and the Academy Award for Best Actor goes to Jack Black's eyebrows, because there's just the one quick shot in the movie of him staring through the door. Window on the door. Yeah, he's just
doing the wave with his eyebrows.
And then you got like the emojis. I really appreciated that one.
Another one of my favorites of Noah's was his review of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone. And he says, I can't look at Snape without seeing the one host from the Great British Bake Off who wears the super tight pants. Because I've also seen the Great British Bake Off.
Yeah, man. I can't remember that guy's name, but it looked exactly like him. Oh shoot, who's this one? This is Josiah's review of Dungeons and Dragons. Is just, I think we should be harder on child actors, in quotes, Riley, when he thought the girl who played the daughter did a bad job.
That's an actual quote. That's not even an embellishment.
We should be harder on child actors.
Riley, one of yours, I just think is a funny concept for your review of 10 Cloverfield Lane.
I like that one.
You just did your top 10 Johns. Stuck in a bunker.
One of them was John Noonan from MVNU.
It's just a bunch of random Johns, but this I like that concept. That was really funny.
Thank you.
And then Noah, one of yours that I really liked was your Garfield review.
Just I had that
that's
one.
very on one hand, it's very idiosyncratic to our experience, but it feels very universal as well. It's just basically just watching a movie in elementary school, the library. Life is bliss.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
Josiah, we different Pirates of the Caribbean movie, but it was of Dead Man's Chest. It said if Riley had a compass, it would point him towards a girl who's hot, loves Jesus, and think pineapple does belong to pizza.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we just used the Pirates of the Caribbean reviews as a weight as a.
Yeah, I also really like the Batman one of yours. So it's this movie is long, but if you put it on your calendar, schedule an intermission halfway through, and bring an assortment of tasty snacks to enjoy delivering. It's a spectacular you can't take your eyes off of. When Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson do the Arnold Schwarzenegger Carter Weathers Predator handshake, it registers on the Richter scale. That leveled mountains with it once, and hopefully they'll do it. You didn't say hopefully, but they'll do it again.
Gotta wait a little bit longer now. Dylan, son of a gun.
For Riley, I had your review of Memento. Is Leonard's, I have a condition. I was engaged.
Yeah, like people just like ask, oh, you have a ring? You're just like, real quick, I was engaged. You spent all that money on a ring? I was engaged. Let's see. I think that's most of them that I had. No, I liked your Blair Witch Project review as well. It was just wait, let me pull it up. Is it Burkittsville, Maryland, or the woods behind Richwood Church of Christ?
Yeah,
so that was a church.
I had that one too.
We grew up at, but they had like a real small plot of woods behind the church, and we would go out there and find sticks.
We played in the woods all the time.
And I thought that was really funny.
The only one I wrote down for myself that I also appreciated was my review for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, where it's just John of the Planet of the Apes, where it's just John Hughes defending the original Planet of the Apes movies.
They don't make movies like they used to.
It's practical effects.
One of my last ones I had for Noah, which is another joke one, is if Noah, Josiah, and Riley's excellent venture, Riley would be the one falling in love with the first girl he sees in the 1500s England.
The Black Plague is going around. We gotta get out of here.
No, you guys go on. I think I'll stay for a little while.
She said she likes movies. She doesn't know what movies are.
They're still called talkies at this point.
Also, Josiah, your Nosferatu review, I thought was really articulate because it pretty much is what I felt during the movie.
I think, which is funny because
it seems to be a popular sentiment.
Thoughts. For myself, I pretty appreciated my Scooby-Doo review. It's just a scrappy do in the movie. It's just like, well, listen up, losers. The time has come that you appoint me your unquestioned leader. Either that or I'm walking. And then I just said that's Riley to Noah and Josiah during the quarterly Good Chill 100 business meeting. Riley's just trying to usurp power, and Noah and I are just like, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
You're not yourself.
Why are you trying to do this?
I didn't really pick ones for me.
Because they're also good.
Oh, the one I like is I did watch another documentary of 2024. It was the Untold Sign Stealer about Michigan stealing the signs from like different football teams, specifically Ohio State. And this was like a clip going around of the Twitch streamer influencer Jinxie. He's like, right hand on the Bible, God can strike me down if I'm lying. That mother effer's cheating. Take my word. And I put -OSU probably. Ohio State University probably.
I had a few for myself. I mean, I try to some of my reviews, when I feel like it, I try to be very intentional with what I write. So like for Nebraska and Hacksaw Ridge, I feel like I really articulated my thoughts well. The last ones I wanted to call out were Riley, your review for Smile, and Noah's review for Long Legs. Both involved my disdain for bodily noises. And all I can and Nosferatu, it's got a vampire in it, so this is not really a spoiler. Sucking blood though.
Yeah.
This several scenes where he's just like slurping down blood. I'm telling you, I was like, I gotta get out of here. It was so he's it was so nasty.
That's gross. Well, we can probably shift gears here and move into our final talking point. Well, pre-trivia. Some of our favorite moments from the podcast.
Oh yeah,
we've got 6 months of podcast now. A couple of funny things happened during that time.
At least 5.
Okay, I'll start off. Which I think one of the funniest I laughed from the pod is when I did the Gene Parmesan and got you
Oh,
guys.
I forgot about that.
I wrote that. That's my
that
first
one. That one was good.
That was out of. I mean, I feel like Arrested Development is just such a.
Oh, it's
an old reliable, knocks them dead every time. But yeah, Gene Parmesan is great.
Yeah, that was a great pick. For my first one I've written down, I just had the entire comic book movie Draft from Hell. Like, as far as like the most iconic things, just the dumpster fire that was.
It's just so funny because before there was even any technical difficulties, we just didn't recognize 2/3 of the movies on the list. We're just like, you're like, I found the list on the website.
Yeah, we really just should have made our own, but that just crashed and burned so spectacularly, and we just were trying to wrap it up, trying to save some face at the end. You were so like defeated, and we were kind of beating you down. It was so.
But we
funny.
learned from it.
Yeah, we did. It's great.
That technology is unreliable, and we got to do pen and paper. For me, this is just a callback to our first 10 episodes where we just really kept bringing up Solo, a Star Wars show. Like after we had our little bit in episode 11, we kind of stopped referring to it, but it was just we just kept accidentally referring to it, and then Riley kept intentionally bringing it up, and we're like, no, that doesn't count. Part of our history.
I would say the whole trivia episode, like our trivia special, I really enjoyed. I thought because it felt like we took like really good care of it, and I think trivia is our thing we love to do, and I had a really fun time with it.
I had so your Gene Parmesan pick was really good, but when we did the 3-hour tour, your pick for the saboteur being Judas Iscariot was just like, you chose who? It was so funny. And then like we created the little scene of like they're just out on the boat, and there's just like a little dessert bar. Ned from Wayne Knight's character is just getting food, and it's just Judas Iscariot behind him in line. Wow, so funny.
This is a moment in the podcast history, not funny, but from Concur Not Concur, one of our, I think probably our first one, I said that Pedro Pascal is in too many franchises, and the internet really liked that take because that went, I mean, I don't know if viral is the right word for it, but it got, what's it at, 125K views on TikTok?
Yeah, I would say it's semi-viral.
Semi-viral. The algorithm picked that one up, and let's just say people were not patient.
Talked.
338 comments, 7,000 likes, 369 saves, and 130,000 views.
Wow.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Like, and that was still 2-3 months ago. So it's just an interesting episode in our story. But then also, I just need to go on record and say, I didn't say that I don't like Pedro Pascal. I didn't say that he's a bad actor. I said that he was in too many franchises, too many big franchises, and that is what I was arguing from. Not that anybody really cares enough to hear my clarification. I appreciate that.
Wait.
It's your turn.
It's my turn.
Huh? It's Riley's turn.
That's what I thought.
Well, it's really hard to pick. We did a lot of episodes. This is our 25th episode. I would just say a favorite, I guess, moment is kind of generalizing is that we started this pod and we kept doing episodes.
Yeah, that's maybe the biggest hallmark thing of all.
I'm really proud of the three of us. I appreciate both of you, and I just think this has been a fun journey and excited to see what we do in 2025. So.
We appreciate you as well.
Thank you.
I have another one that is sort of happened after we finished recording, but for the trivia episode, the prize was a copy of The Room on Blu-ray, and it was like, this is going to be a good movie. But the entire time that we were filming, I knew in the back of my mind, I hadn't told them yet, I had bought a copy of The Room on Blu-ray for Josiah as a gift for our Christmas Blu-ray exchange. And it was just sitting upstairs. And so after we finished and you won, I went upstairs and it's like, well, I guess you won't really be needing this anymore because you have a copy. And then Josiah's like, well, actually, I bought 2 copies because he bought one, but it wasn't going to be here in time. So he bought an additional copy on Amazon, fast shipped it.
Because I was going to buy the second one from Amazon, get it, and then return it. but
then I revealed that I had this, and so you, having said you bought initial, basically the day ended where we each got a copy of The Room on Blu-ray, which is just, I thought it was so kind of goofy how it all worked out.
Yeah, that was funny. For me, this is for me as the editor of the podcast, but the first episode, it's, that was our first episode, so it's like, we're figuring things out, but like our mics, we just used Blue Yeti mics. They were bad. And so that first episode, I spent 4 hours like clicking through, just like, clipping sound and muting and trying to make it sound okay. And I was just like, yo, we got to make a change. Like literally episode 1. And I'm like,
gonna work.
We need some new mics. So yeah,
I think by episode 3 or 4, we all had the new mics.
But if you go back to that first episode, content wise, it's just like, but the sound quality is just like.
One of my favorite moments is not like anything that happened in the episodes, but the people, our friends or family, that tell us about the podcast.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
I really
highlight.
enjoy like shout out Gabri. He tells us like, man, I love that episode, or that was a really good segment. And I also have a friend, Caleb. He will always, like, as soon as our episode drops, he'll send me like a edited photo of what happened in that episode of something that happened. And it's always just really funny.
Yeah.
And then Riley shares that with us. So
yeah, we always get a good laugh. Just our mom listens and she calls Josiah because Josiah said some name incorrectly, and she was like, "Sai, it's pronounced Marie," or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say our sister watches sometimes, and she and I think other people in our family have commented how their favorite part of the podcast is consistently Riley just not saying stuff correctly. Riley saying, "Well, you get this real dichotomy between Clark and Kent." Like that's what my parents.
Or the angel loses the wings.
Yeah. That's
just,
so
every time I say something wrong,
we've got those moments in spades.
It's so earnest.
Yeah, it truly is.
Shout out our family, parents. Shout out mom. Appreciate you.
For another moment, I don't know why I wrote this, but I think it just rang true that I love how all three of us just really enjoyed Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2. Like, where did those movies come from, and why are they so good? I liked the fact that we all just really like those movies, and we're just staunchly defending them.
It's just a funny thing to call out, but twin telepathy happening in real time, where Noah and I, for every like where we had like a roster that we selected characters for, every time we did that 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times.
3 times, and every time Noah and I we picked Dr. King Schultz, both picked Caesar Catalina, we both picked Django from Django Unchained, we both picked, well, I picked Johnny, you picked Lisa from The Room, for the same reason though. So it's just they say great minds think alike, and so I just thought it was funny how consistently that has happened in that bit.
Yeah, go figure.
I just like any moment that we just burst out laughing. It just a couple that stand out to me is when I got an answer wrong, like the shawarma episode, and I just like look at Noah.
That was during trivia, yeah, and I guess Avengers, and you were just like,
Riley killed Noah with his eyes.
Yeah, you had a couple moments that episode where you sort of dropped the ball, and it was in a too much to our gain.
Yeah, it's just fun, a lot of laughs.
Final moment that I have written down is we had our very good friend, our best friend Lucas on the podcast back in September. Episode coming out next week. We recorded early. Lucas is going to be on that as well. He's just a really good friend, and we love getting to share these sort of moments with him.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, happy birthday. Yeah, I think that's the last thing I had was just how we've canonized Noah and Glenn Powell having beef.
Yeah, that hasn't really come up recently, did it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just part of the lore.
Can't wait for you to meet him one day. The Good Show Hunting, we're interviewing actors, and it's like, I watched your episode.
Comes out super aggressive. Hey man, what the heck, Glenn? I never thought that we would have this interaction together. Oh, I knew we would.
Yeah, but let us know what your favorite moments from the pod have been. If you've been listening since the beginning, or if this is your first episode. We are incredibly appreciative of you joining us on this fun little project. And yeah, let us know what you have you really enjoyed. Yeah. Before we get to trivia, I wanted to very quickly just go off movies and just say, what are some highlights or low points just from the year, you know, in general. Share some stuff that's been going on in our personal lives.
I started a new job in September. I got done with school and became LPC, started a new job in a school, and that's been a huge blessing. Really enjoying my job, working with middle schoolers. They're a fun group, a lot of laughs. So,
yeah, the big one for me. My wife and I are expecting a baby. He is due in like 2 months now, less than 2 months. So it's crazy. The podcast will definitely see how things will have to be adjusted, but we could not be more excited. Like such a huge blessing.
Junior will understand.
Yeah.
Here. For me, I've been continuing grad school. Graduating this coming year, so I've just been nose to the grindstone on that, and an internship that keeps me busy. One of the big things Noah and I at the beginning of this year started. Our father in our bloodline has always been like resellers, or they selling stuff on the internet. So Noah and I got into that, just going to Goodwill, sniping stuff off the shelves and selling it for a profit, and so that's been really fun.
Taking some money.
Yeah, I was gonna say it started out as a hobby, but it really is a good way to make money. So that's what we spend a lot of time doing that.
I would say a thing I have learned in 2024 is that like to give yourself grace that you are doing a good job. You might not think it, but you are. I have learned. I went on a wilderness trip and I got time spending with God and a group of guys, and I just learned that I need to have more confidence in myself, that I'm so hard on myself, and I tend to be way more critical than I am of others. And guess what? You are unique. You are a miracle. We're also all messes, and that's why we need Jesus. But I've realized that that give yourself some grace. You're doing a good job, and yeah,
I think that's an excellent point. I'm always very hypercritical of many things, but especially when it comes into the realm of like created content. Like me and Josiah have had projects in the past, and I always am just very critical, and I'm like, I don't want to put it out there because it's not really that good. Or I'm not saying anything original. So this podcast has been a good exercise in just like, hey, just keep doing it. If you don't do it for anyone else, do it for yourself. And I'm our podcast biggest fan. Like I love listening to our podcast on the drive to work. I laugh even though I'm in it and I know what's coming. I'm just driving to and from work.
Something smart again.
Yeah, I just laugh out loud, and it's like a highlight of my weekend to listen to our own podcast, and it's I'm so glad that we've been able to do it.
Yeah. To your point, having great, like, I'll tell you what, like with my internship, man, can I say counseling is tough work. It really is. And, I have a lot of thoughts on it, but like this year has been really tough, just personally, just wrestling with identity in that. And I don't cry. I don't cry very often, but like I had a pretty big moment earlier this year where I had a counseling where I had kind of messed up in a way, and I just felt like such a failure. Like I really did, and I cried with my supervisor, and I was not expecting those tears. But yeah, it's been a year-long journey at this point, and it's just realizing that, like, most of us get it wrong. Like most of us are figuring it out as we go. And even with that, it's just like there's more than one right way to do something. Actually, there's an infinite number of ways to do something right, or to do a podcast. You feel like I'm not being original because
there's not, as many people have said, another white guy movie podcast.
Yeah, but like,
yeah.
But, and it's just like a valid thought, but at the same, it's like there's no podcast with Noah, Josiah, and Riley. Like that's original. Yeah. And there's no counselor like me. Like there are there are amazing counselors out there, but I'm going to be an amazing counselor if I am doing it as myself. And that's maybe not the deepest thought. And you're an amazing counselor, not because you emulate someone else, but because you allow the part of you that is caring and thoughtful and all that shine through. And so anyway, so it's just like, man, we can be hard on ourselves. And as far as nursing goes,
I've seen 100 nurses I know.
Dime a dozen. But yeah, like as I said with Thelma, it's just like life is hard. Life, it sometimes getting out of bed is hard. And so if we can recognize that, give ourselves grace, lean on each other, lean on the Lord. It really is special when you allow yourself to think about it.
Beautiful said.
I think you meant to say, well said.
Or beautifully said.
Beautiful said. He did it again.
Beautiful word talk. Anyway. But we're not done yet. We still got trivia.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna ask what's something you're looking forward to 2025, but
okay.
I know what Noah's is gonna be. So
I mean, I'm going to be a dad. Like, what more could I be excited about?
Yeah. I'm graduating. By the grace of God, I will be graduating this year, and moving. Figuring out the next steps in my life. And I'm getting married next year. I'm calling it, willing it into existence. I will meet a girl on January 2nd at the coffee shop.
And then you're going to get married by the end of the year?
We get married by the end of the year.
Wow.
Yo, we cannot advocate for that. I think you're moving a little quickly.
Fortune telling. Yeah, what about yourself?
I mean, really, like, 2025 is a blank page. I don't really have anything like, I'm not going to be a dad. I'm not graduating. So it's like, but there's nothing more exciting or daunting than a blank page.
Well said.
I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow.
How exciting. But I am going to finish my movie room. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm excited to watch movies on that, have people over.
We're going to come over and we're going to watch a beautiful movie on your large TV in your home theater.
And I'm excited for that. So,
yeah.
We're going to watch The Minions in your home theater.
God is good, and this podcast is a blessing.
And we're excited to see where the podcast goes in 2025.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean,
God
willing, like we'll keep it up.
Keep going. 100 subscribers on YouTube is the next milestone. But anyway, enough yapping.
It's time for our trivia.
We got some trivia.
It's time to play the game.
Noah's got 2 wins.
No, I don't. I have 1.
I have 2 wins. Riley
Noah's got 1.
John
Riley's got
Hughes
2.
has 2 wins.
I've got 0.
Josiah won trivia for again. The episode coming out next week with Lucas is off the record. So,
and isn't that convenient for my competitors?
You just spoiled who won that trivia.
No, I didn't.
No, shut up. Stop talking about it.
We'll fix it in post.
And you just spoiled it.
And can we test buzzers?
That's another part of our trivia our podcast lore we evolved from using our man-made
throats.
buzzers to actual buzzers.
So this theme for trivia this week is 2024 releases. Okay.
Appropriate.
Ready?
Yep.
Question number 1. My name is Paul Madu Atreides, which is played by Timothée Chalamet. And also, Timothée Chalamet played 2 roles this year. One was Paul Atreides, and the other was Bob Dylan in this biopic.
A complete unknown.
That is correct. You're 1, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait.
Question number 2. Tom Ryder, Jody Moreno, and the main character Colt Seavers were all in this 2024 release that featured a character crying to a Taylor Swift song and a dog named John Claude. Tom Ryder, Jody Moreno, and the main character Colt Seavers were all in this 2024 release that featured a character crying to Taylor Swift and a dog named John Claude.
Man. This is wrong. The best Christmas pageant ever.
That's incorrect.
It's Deadpool and Wolverine.
That is incorrect.
Uh,
The correct answer is The Fall Guy.
Oh, wow. Nope.
Question number 3. Name the movie from the cast. Alex Pettyfer, Carrie Elways.
the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
That is correct. The score is 1-1. Question number 4. In Deadpool and Wolverine, Wade, Logan, and the rest of the team in the Void are on a mission to take down Cassandra Nova and escape the Void. Their plan includes to steal a helmet of this Marvel villain. Noah.
Juggernaut.
That is correct.
I must say Magneto.
Question number 5. 2024 had a live actor star in more than one movie. Anya Taylor-Joy starred in Furiosa and made an appearance in Dune Part 2. Nicholas Hoult starred in 3 projects this year, but this actor starred in 4 with Kinds of Kindness, Saturday Night, Josiah.
Willem Dafoe.
That is correct.
And Nosferatu and...
Beetlejuice.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're in the bonus question then, huh?
Yes. Okay. Ray, bonus. Name the 5 movies we all saw in 2024.
Like, together?
Just we all saw it, not together, but we all saw these movies.
There was 5 movies that all 3 of us have seen.
Yep.
Okay, how much time does he have?
He's got ready 5 seconds.
Deadpool and Wolverine, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Long Legs,
4, 5.
Okay. Okay.
He can just build off
Deadpool, Wolverine, Long Legs, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Fall Guy, Dune Part 2.
That's correct.
Yeah, I got
Let's
Dune.
go.
There's more than 5.
Let's go.
But I just won 5.
What were the other ones?
The Fall Guy and Alien Romulus.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Forgot about that one. Nice.
I feel like Noah had the advantage for having me go first there.
You should
you
have
buzzed
buzzed
in
in
first.
It glitched.
There was a weird gravitational pull.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 2.
That's
so,
2.
So next week's trivia is going to decide the winner.
Sucks. I have not won much of any trivia
You won the first season.
since the first season and last week when it doesn't matter.
Spoilers.
So for next week's trivia, we are doing voice acting roles.
Okay.
I hope
Sounds
you
good.
brought your dancing shoes.
I did.
Well, congratulations. And congratulations to all of you for making it to 2025.
We're going to see how quickly I can get this hour and 38-minute long podcast episode edited.
We just want to say we appreciate everyone that's listened to us. Please let us know what your favorite moments of the pod, what you would like to see next, what you want to hope to see from us in 2025. We love to hear your comments, and we appreciate each and every one of you. We hope you have a great 2025.
Yep.
That's right.
Be blessed.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right. See you in the next year. Bye.
Bye.
Godspeed.